All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Hope everybody had a great trading day today. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody joined in. 1 second, please. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. And what a day today! So we had an interesting move at the open, and then things kind of got really, really choppy, as we kind of expect going into the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, or Thanksgiving holiday, and and then we got a little bit of a dip buy at the end of the day, and ended up pushing over the 80 MA, which we'll take a look at here in a little bit. But anyway, guys, good stuff. So. Today we're going to be continuing our series on prosperity trading, and hopefully you guys found yesterday helpful. Today we're going to be talking about positive attitude, right? So positive thinking. So really, really good stuff to help gain prosperity when trading, and really, really good stuff. Before we get started, guys, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. So what we're going to do is first we're going to take a look and see where we left off with the market here today. Then we're going to take a look at the futures, see what might be setting up, if we're up or down, and what might be setting up going into tomorrow. And then we'll take a go through the topic. Then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX, guys, up about 7 points here today. Interesting move, right? I mean, a little bit of down move, a little bit of up move, so it ended up net 7. Still green on the monthly chart, right? As we're above the prior green chart high, and then a pretty interesting move here on the weekly chart, right? So again, we hit all-time highs this week, and we pulled back off of it. We started the day on the weekly chart with a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly, and we just got above the last week's open, and so no longer bearish engulfing so far, but we still have 2 trading days left in the week. What? 2 trading days? Well, actually 1.5, right? Because we've got tomorrow. We got a full day tomorrow, so that'll be fun. And then Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. So market is closed on Thanksgiving. But again, guys, just take this moment now to thank everybody for being a part of this stream, and for watching our videos and being a part of our groups and being a part of Twitter. It's always a blast, and I'm thankful for all of you. And so off on Thanksgiving, and then Friday is a half day for Black Friday. And stay tuned, guys. If you're not in our group, we got a little special going on that might inspire you to join. So, because we do have a lot of fun. We got the bubble report, we've got our Discord, we got Twitter, we got all the videos during the day, and we have a lot of fun. So good stuff there. That being said, so that's our weekly chart. We'll see what ends up turning out here for the next day and a half, right, that we've got trading. So it's a big day today, right? We ended up here on SPX. We ended up stretching down the trend box, and then coming back up and closing green above the 80 MA. So pretty amazing stuff, and there's also increased volume on the SPY. So we'll see if this little wave up right here ends up turning into this is basically what I'm looking at right now. I'm keeping the bullish count out of it because, hey, green candle over the 80 MA, so we'll go with it right there. But pretty impressive move right here so far, right? So I basically just extended the wave 5 up here and called this wave 1 because this is a pretty dramatic down move, just basically in the golden zone, right? So basically under 618, a little bit below the 786, but pretty good move right there, and then a very impulsive price action towards the end of the day in the last couple hours. So this could be a wave 1, and we'll take a look at the futures. If we're gapping down or anything like that, we still might have a sub wave 2, so it could be a 1-2-1-2, and then we might see some nice impulsive upside action on Friday, right? So, or maybe at the end of the day tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes going into that. So let's go ahead and pull up the futures and see what we're up to down to this evening. What we're setting up going into tomorrow. So basically just choppy right now. Futures down a little bit red, down about 4 points right now. So oh wow. So big thing we want to look at right here. A couple things. Well, let's just do this. Let's start this geometric line here. It's again nice from the highs right here today. Another geometric line right here. So we'll see if going into tomorrow we can pop above this level right here, and where we go from there. Below geometric line right here, kind of triangulating. So just generally choppy action overall. And we'll see where we go from there. So what's tomorrow? What's the big thing that's happened tomorrow other than Thanksgiving Eve? We got the Fed minutes tomorrow. Now, do we really care about the Fed minutes? Yes, and normally we didn't. Normally it was just a non-action, but the Fed minutes these days, everybody's been really concerned about what the Fed's saying, implying more about it, inflation, et cetera, et cetera. You got J. Powell maybe looking like he's going to get reappointed, it's kind of interesting to see how the market will interpret that. That's at 2 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time, And no, I mean, it's not like a rate announcement or anything like that. Normally, it's a non-event. Just the Fed minutes come out, and we usually see a little bit of an IV spike, a little bit of a push up or a push down, and then things start to calm down and sometimes take a little bit of direction into the end of the day. So that's interesting coming up tomorrow too. So give something to do in the afternoon and for a few minutes, right? So other than that, we'll see if we can get over these geometric lines tonight and where we go from there. So good stuff. So again, guys, really appreciate everybody for being here. So this week we're covering prosperity trading, and so yesterday we covered a really important topic of greed and how having that state of mind, getting into lottos and all that stuff. And it's just, it's really, it's not that people aren't successful with them. They don't get these huge like 10 baggers on these, option trades, things like that. We certainly do too when the setup is right. And we can even do it intraday too on SPX. And so it's not that that's, really the issue. It's all the issue about the mentality, right? And, when folks have that kind of lotto mindset, right, they're not really focusing on wealth and prospering. They're looking at making a quick buck, right, and gambling basically is what it turns out to. And that's really, that's one way to do it and to attempt to do it. But long term, right, with high probabilities and understanding techniques in the market, you could really do a lot better, right, overall in the long term. And so, instead of gambling and risking everything, just one trade or a couple trades, or just trying to like double and double and double and double every time without, evaluating the risk, right? So that's really, really important too. So today, I basically just want to talk about positive thinking, right? And so this is really, really important when trading. And really, ultimately, what I want to do is just kind of break it down like this. So let me ask you a question, right? When you have a bad trading day and you get upset, well, first of all, when you have the bad trading day, are you able to figure out what your mental state was before you took the trade? Okay, if you're able to do that, right, it's important, right? If you guys journal and you're really concerned about, this and improving mental stability, right? What was your state of mind before? Were you tired? Were you groggy? Were you cranky? Were you busy? Were you distracted? Right? These are, very, very important. So, okay, so then let's say you get a bad trade. Do you get upset, right? Or, do you acknowledge that you had a good setup and it was the randomness of the market and you got stopped out for a reasonable risk, right? So, but if you got upset and you got angry, what happens sometimes? We like to try to revenge trade, right? That's a common thing out there. So, revenge trading, right? So you got upset, right? And then you say, anybody who's ever revenge traded out there when they're upset, what happens? How many times do you end up winning or breaking even or even, going green on the day? How rare is that? Okay, right? And then how many times do you revenge trade and you actually end up worse than you were when you were before? Okay, so if your attitude before your first trade was, blah, right? Maybe you were pumped, maybe you're excited, and then you took a loss that you weren't expecting. Well, does that mean that you weren't expecting it or you just didn't budget for it, right? You didn't have the risk involved on it, right? So it shouldn't upset you, right? The market is random, right? And so that being said, right? So then you get angry. So what's that attitude doing on the next trade, right? How does that help? Well, it didn't help, right? It puts you in a state of, greed and anger and really, really, and then doesn't serve us, right? And then sometimes we get through it and we're just, just kind of, get relieved maybe. And, but we just kind of did it with the pump there, from that, those stress hormones, right? And so that's one way of looking at things. All right. So that negative attitude created more negative trades. Well, so how about a positive attitude? So I'm not saying that just being positive makes trading good and easy, right? What I'm saying is that having that state of mind helps us to see the market clearer, right? And it gives us an opportunity to connect with what we're seeing in the market with the right setups and to see if it's even there, right? So I mean, sometimes there's not even a setup there, and instead of forcing somebody to have a positive attitude, you're just enjoying the day, checking out the price action, seeing if anything happens, right? So today was tough, right? I mean, but we had some great trades at the open, right? Tesla short was awesome, gave us a good move. Just kind of show you what it looked like right here on Tesla, right? So Tesla, right? I mean, we were generally pretty bearish on it. We broke a couple key levels right here, nice consolidation right here, breakdown. We got involved in this, pointed that out in the group today, and then we went on the live stream today on the lunchtime, and we talked about some key levels down here too. Once that broke down too, it got us to another level, right? So. And either way, when we were in this range, there were no setups. It was a nice retrade, but we wanted to break through those levels first. first. So there's no reason, if you got a positive attitude, just keep watching the chart and see if something sets up, right? When you're angry and you're forcing stuff, maybe you're trying to force here, maybe you missed this one, or whatever the case, or maybe it stopped you out. You got short here and it stopped you out. You're just trying to short, and you end up losing a bunch here on this, and then you miss the actual move, right? But when you have a positive attitude and you have good calm thinking, right, we can look for the setups and we can look for the consolidations, right? I mean, here, look at that. I mean, we just had like this nice triangle right here, right? So nice breakdown right there, good consolidation here, right? And then we broke down our key levels with increased momentum. And Tesla was hot today on the short side, right? So a big move, right, off of the daily chart, right? We had a nice spinning top yesterday, right? We broke down below those lows, and then once we broke down here, it was about corresponding with that these levels here, right? That 1105 area off this breakdown was the losing the ADMA on the daily chart, right? And we ended up testing some key support levels here, right, where we ended up bouncing before, and ended up moving up back above the ADMA, right? So, but no reason to get upset, right? Is this thing, right? And before you take a trade, you got to know your risk, and you got to make sure that risk is not going to hurt you, right? Make you upset. And if it does make you upset, and let's say the money is not enough to really affect you or anything like that, and you still get upset, you definitely need to evaluate that. But if that's not the issue, and it's just the money, you got to scale back a little bit, right, on the trades and make sure you're evaluating your risk correctly, right? So having that positive attitude can be really, really helpful, and can allow us to see the market a little bit better. And then when things do get move in our direction, right, it's a lot more fun, right? We had fun like with Apple this morning, right? We shorted this here, with a nice consolidation breakdown at the open, where things were still moving, the market was flushing a little bit, right? So we got involved here in this candle, and it came right to our support zone, right? So we hit right our target right here. We made 50 cents on the trade very quickly, and we love those trades, right? So 50 cents on Apple is a great trade, right? And sometimes we make a point on Apple, but and usually it's kind of like gives us a little bit of struggle. It's been a little bit more involved recently. We've had some bigger daily candles on Apple than we normally do, but it's kind of that normal hype. And but yeah, we were very, very volatile here on Apple for a couple days, but normally Apple is kind of like a little bit of a chopper, kind of a grinder, right? So we do see that sometimes. But anyway, it really helps to have that positive thinking, and it helps us see the market in a more clearly, right? So anyway, guys, good stuff. Hopefully you found that helpful. At this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can. Try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So Shirley sent a few in via email. Shirley, hope you're doing great out there. Let's take a look and see what we got here on Crocs. So Crocs, wow, nice breakdown right here. But again, I don't like shorting on a lower shadow like this. I'd rather see more breakdown. We're kind of holding a little bit of support there, so a little bit of caution on that one. OSTK, but it could be trying to buy the dip. OSTK, guys, I don't know how I missed this one yesterday when I was looking through charts. But beautiful. Look at this bearish engulfing candle right here, increasing volume under the ADMA. The sector was weak, right? The iBuy sector, and that was on our sector radar yesterday. And perfectly, this would have been my target right here, just under 100. Exceeded his expectation. A little bit of a lower shadow on this one, so watch that. Look where I found some support right there, right at that prior lower shadow. So, but pretty cool. It's a great find on Overstock. Disney, still getting crushed here, guys. I don't know when they're going to buy the dip on this one. Let's check out the weekly chart and see if there's any clues here. We just lost this major level right here. That was prior resistance that became support. Now we're below that. So the next real level on the weekly chart here, we got 140, and then we got the open gap. Right, so those are some key areas there to look at for Disney. But yeah, still breaking down. Not a lot as much volume as yesterday or last week so far, but definitely the daily chart looking interesting. Right, so DKNG wasn't ready yet. Had a green candle yesterday, but couldn't get over the ADMA. So another engulfing candle on this one here. So again, possibly more downside until it's ready. And then eBay was on our radar this morning, and got a 15-hour radar this morning. Got a nice gap down and a little bit of a test to the bottom of the club. I'd be careful with that one. The best one on the short side so far is looking like Disney and DKNG. So good stuff there. And JMOS, good evening. So TSM, let's take a look. Right, so what do we see? We talked about this one yesterday, right? So remember this the zone that we drew, right, off of these drop zone, right, upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, and then look what happened right off that shooting star candle, boom, right back down to the ADMA. So at this point now, right, I would say we probably really want this thing to get above these levels right here with some sort of strength, right? So that these upper shadows really give us a lot of clues, right? The candles tell us a lot of clues into where the buyers are and where the sellers are, right? There was a lot of sellers at that level still, and came right back down. Right, if the buyers were going to step up, we probably would have seen a nice big breakout green candle on that one, right? So, pretty cool stuff there, and still kind of range bound too. Apple, of course, we just looked at that one. Big shooting star from yesterday, but they did come back in yesterday's range, so we'll see if we can get over those highs going into tomorrow. And GM, inside day, right? So Ford also with an inside day here too. I like Ford because it's a little bit higher in the range, so if it breaks out over those highs, it could be good. But GM could still move too. They both names have been pretty epic recently. Why, I have no idea. There's no cars on the lots and how they're making money, but I guess if you invest in Rivian, you can make a little bit of cash flow. And look, Sarah, what's going on? Good to see you. ADSL. Let's take a look. ADSL. I don't see this one. ASDL. I don't know which one that is, but PayPal. Let's take a look here. So PayPal inside day. Okay, so this one's been tricky, right? So I've got an alert there once we get to the gap, right? If we can get there with some earnings, with some strength. So PayPal still just struggling, right? 8's under the 50's under the 200, right? All the major moving averages are down. At the very least, I'd like to see us get above the 80 MA. We're at kind of a consolidation zone here prior, right? There's a lot of levels right here. This is kind of the we're actually basically in the bottom end of it. So this is an important area right here where they bought the dip a few times in the past, right in this area here. You can see all those lower shadows. Others, you kind of make this green. Let's see if we can get a better green color on this one. Let's make it a little darker green right there. See how that looks? Yeah, so a little bit of a green level right there. So this is an important area for it. We bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here. We haven't quite tagged it yet, so there might be a little more downside. 180 could be an interesting whole number. It's also half a circle, right? So that could be an interesting one there too. Any breakdown below here, you got a huge open gap that could be targeted here on PayPal. And a couple interesting levels down here as well, like you get to the 120 area if it really wanted to drop, but definitely one to keep an eye on here. And that gap is actually corresponding with that 120 area too. So let's see how it holds here on this one. So good stuff. Appreciate it, Luxera. And Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see you have no shame. I love it. You used to ask about Boeing all the time, and Spot's kind of coming out. So no shame on this one. So let's take a look and see what we got here. I mean, there was some major areas here for a while. I mean, you got kind of like this whole thing, right? So it's like support. It may want to come back and test that. Could be a possible doji sandwich. Now I know it's still struggling here under the 80 MA, right? So we got this nice breakdown candle right here with increased volume, pause day, and then just a little bit of low volumes, and then yesterday just under the 200 day and the 50 day, right? So got down to the cloud here today. There's a little bit of a gap down here that hasn't quite been filled yet. So if we lose yesterday's lows, see how they defend the gap, and then below there we got basically this 225 area that looks pretty interesting. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Autodesk. Oh, I got you. It looks like okay. So ADSK. Let's take a look. Yeah. So ADSK, interesting. I know you're looking to try to buy dips here. It's really tricky, guys. With what do you got? Earnings. Earnings after hours today. How's it doing after earnings right here? Brutal drop on this name right here. Look at that. Oof. Let's see where we're gapping to. We're waiting. Oh boy, that's bad. Wow. That's a painful one. And this one just got added to the SP 500 not too long ago, right? Okay, so we're losing this level right here. Lost this level right here. We're basically coming right into this level right here. So this is a good area, right, for it to try to hold those levels right there. So let's see if it can hold this area, right, and where we go from there. So very important zone for it to hold right here. If it does hold, we might see some dip buyers right there. I mean, it looks like the earnings were actually pretty good. It looks like it was a beat on earnings. There may have been, what was the news on this one? Outlook. Outlook will get them every time. Once the algos see that Outlook thing, right, they go all over that. But they did beat on revenue, it looks like. Yeah, well, they about break even on revenue right there. But earnings beat pretty decently, at least year over year, I guess. So anyway, nice move on that one. But yeah, the outlook kind of hurt it right there. So let's see how it goes. We might get a little bit of a dip by tomorrow, and then we'll see what it does. We can consolidate here. Look how long it consolidated here, right? So just so we went from here to here. This is looks like about 15 days, about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So once we hit this level right here, why isn't that showing up? What is this? Oh, I got the time extensions right here. Yeah, so about almost a month. About 26 days, 25 days right here. So if it stays here, just kind of see how long it kind of consolidates in this area. And then what happened when it broke out last time? Right, when it finally consolidates there, we got a breakout right here, no volume on this one. They got a breakout doji reverse right here, and then things started to go, right? And then started to work its way up, started to ride the ADMA up a little bit right there. So see if it can do the same thing going into tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So good stuff there. And then Thierry, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And you got the BitF. Let's see the Bit Farms. It's an inside day here today, but over the ADMA still. So let's see if we break up to the upside there. And then Neo, we're basically working on this flag right here. So again, I'd like to see a little bit more strength on it to get going. And then Rivian. Okay, so Rivian below its fresh ADMA right here, right? So it's an epic run up right here, making billions for Ford so they could, stay afloat, and then back down here to the IPO highs, right? So still holding those levels right here. I'd definitely look to see if we can get back over the ADMA, see if they try to rally it back up over. Otherwise, you might just see some blah action in that area. So it's kind of the main stuff that we're looking at here. But anyway, guys, good stuff. Really appreciate the chart request tonight. It's definitely has been a fun one out there. It's been an interesting week here, even with the Turkey Day coming up pretty soon. But looking forward. Tomorrow's the last day before Thanksgiving, so looking forward to seeing you guys bright and early tomorrow morning here on YouTube for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And of course, for our members, just want to thank everybody for being a part of the group as we continue to navigate these markets successfully. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the morning. If you guys are taking off for Thanksgiving, I hope everybody has a good one. And either way, we'll be back. We won't be live tomorrow night, but we'll be live on Thanksgiving night because the market's open on Friday. So it's a half day, but we'll still be here and looking forward to it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We'll see you guys again bright and early tomorrow morning. Till then, stay healthy out there and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys soon.